Injury report, here's what I have for you guys. So A.J. Epinesa and Shaq Thompson will not play. Daquan Jones, Joshua Palmer, Taron Johnson, Christian Benford will all be limited today and questionable for the game. The rest of the guys should be good to go unless something else pops up over the next day or two. And then important to mention the Dallas Cowboys and their organization in terms of what they're going through and on the loss of Marshawn Nealon and that unfortunate situation. So just a reminder to all of us how important and how real mental health is and well-being. So just wanted to reach out and send our condolences to his family and to the Dallas Cowboys organization. So with that, I'll take your questions. No questions? I understand. Give it a moment, okay?
No, I appreciate that sentiment for sure.
Yeah.
To switch topics a bit, what have you learned about Jordan Poyer this year?
Probably more of what I believe I already knew about him and the type of person he is, the type of character he has, what he values in football, life overall, maybe perhaps too, and just I would say probably the one new thing that I've seen is he's been unselfish, but his willingness to be a servant to a young player or two or beyond, and that's a whole nother level of a trait that sometimes veteran players don't ever get a chance to display. And then others get a chance to display it, and they're not really wanting to do that. So that's a gift and an incredible trait that he's willing and able to do that.
How important has that been in his comeback year here for that to be part of his journey with the team?
Yeah, I'm assuming, better question for him, but I'm assuming he prepared himself mentally for that, knowing that was going to be part of the task that was required of him. Again, that said, that takes some time to, I would say for most of us, take some time to kind of get a grasp on how that's going to go. So,
With AJ down, there's a pretty good chance that Landon Jackson will be up this week. I know you've spoken about his progress in the practice setting. At his position, what kind of things besides the obvious alignment and assignment progress are you looking for from him from that position, to feel good about giving him a jersey on Sunday?
Understanding his role is number one, just like it is for all of us. Understand your role. Understand the job description that comes with your role and the requirements that are necessary, and the style of play that comes with it, and then knowing that you have to be ready to go beyond and above your role as well in terms of when you're called upon to do more than maybe what you prepared for. We know it's going to be 90-some degrees down there, and so really that's for our whole team is, hey, do your job and then be ready to cover for those that need a break here and there. So that's kind of the vision this weekend for him.
You mentioned on the radio with Sal that the injuries in practice were kind of happening early in practice. Like, what can you do to try to limit these from happening? Like, how do you, is there anything that you can point to, or like, how do you try to limit these from happening?
We thoroughly vet it. If we knew exactly, I think it would get stopped at in the medical department, right? But it goes beyond, that department, and it's, scheduling, looking at everything that way as well. And they're involved in that. The sports science department's involved in just about 90% of scheduling that we lay out there, training camp, practice and whatnot, even this time of year. So when it's happening early in practice, the individual period in particular, there's no physical contact usually in those periods, so it's more soft tissue, and which is even more of a head scratcher and concern. What do? Do you not practice? So that's not always best for driving levels of performance either. So if I knew we'd be doing it, if we knew, we would have adjusted, and you'll see us ramp it down a little bit today, just overall freshness at this point, middle of the season. There's a lot of bumps and bruises and aches and pains and soreness that add up now. So it's something we're trying to figure out. It's not the first year it's happened. So we just got to continue to next man up and go on from there.
If Christian can't go on Sunday, that would probably put Maxwell in line to make his first start in full-time role. So what are you trying to prep him for? How are you talking with him through it all?
Just doing his job, like I mentioned, Joe. He understands, or is beginning to understand what that looks like, and the level that you have to prepare in order to do that, to do one's job at a high level. So really nothing out of the norm, nothing out of what he's been doing to this point. So, and that's really, again, true for all of us, myself, our staff, of be accountable for your job and the job description that's required of you, and do it for those around you in terms of from an accountability standpoint, that we're not going to let each other down.
And you've talked about with James Cook about him opening up more and kind of growing that relationship. When did that start?
I would say probably last year and a half or so. If you take it, if you're not counting this season, maybe 2 years, you're just starting to open up a little bit. And there's extroverts, there's introverts, and I would say James, like me, is a little bit more introverted and likes to watch, but he knows so much. He just doesn't always say it, and he's extremely smart. Doesn't always say it, right? And I respect that. I have a ton of respect for him in terms of how he handles himself. Just because you're not talking doesn't mean that you don't have an awareness and high level of intelligence, and he has both off the field intelligence and football intelligence as well. So I love the person he is and who he continues to become every day.
How has Dalton Kincaid taken ownership of his role this season?
Well, it started in the off season, Matty, with his work ethic. He spent a lot of time here with our strength and conditioning staff, our medical staff, really intent on taking another step as a football player, and maybe even from a personal level as well. And those two go hand in hand quite a bit. So the proof is in the pudding. So far, you see the results. Results are variable, as I always say. But the process that has led him to the results is what he's really focused on, from what I can see, and it's paying off.
In lieu of not adding a piece at the trade deadline, are you kind of looking at Gabe Davis as a somewhat exciting piece to kind of bring into your offense at some point this season?
Well, we all love Gabe, and he's had a lot of impact on our organization in the years that he was here. And again, you never want to. Well, this player is going to save us, right? Or this coach is going to save us. It's we'll see how it goes. He hasn't played football in a long time at this point, and we'll take it one day at a time and see what he looks like. And if that leads us to a point where we can get him active, I'd be excited to watch that. I really would. But again, trying to manage expectations for a young man that hasn't played in a stretch of time, I think that's the right approach right now.
On a fashion note, noticed you've been wearing your glasses more during games. Is there any reason for that, or why the change?
Yeah, they're not even prescription. I just wear them for the look. I got Steve to laugh. Yeah, no, they are 100% prescription. So my guys at Hogan Camp Optical over there take good care of me, and it's something I tried to do a few years ago, and I just couldn't get adjusted to it. Just living 40-some, 50-some years without glasses, and then trying to do it in a game didn't work for me. Right now, I have no choice, so it's out of necessity more than anything. But I appreciate you asking.